I have a stupid bald head. You have a stupid bald head. Hi, I'm Stefan Kesting from grappelarts.com. My friend and training partner, Richie Yip from infighting.ca. Today, I'm going to show you and talk about the most dangerous takedown in Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In fact, it's been banned from most Judo competitions and most Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions. And in one hand, it's a shame. On the other hand, I completely understand. Now, the name of this technique is kani basami, which basically means crab claws, or in English, it's often referred to as a flying scissor. It looks like it's straight out of pro wrestling or straight out of old school Japanese jiu-jitsu, you know, with a top knot and a sword, and hey, grab my wrist. No, my other wrist. But the thing is, it actually works. It's also, unfortunately, quite dangerous. It's a little bit dangerous to practice. I once knocked out somebody showing this to them in high school. They wanted to see this judo stuff I was doing, and I did it to him. The guy had no idea how to fall. Got knocked out with his head on the pavement. It's my bad.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
It's so my fault.
It is my bad. But even against a person who does know how to break fall, which my friend didn't, things can and do go wrong. The most famous example of this throw going bad is Yamashita, arguably the greatest judoka of the 20th century, undefeated for an unbelievable number of matches at the highest levels of judo when he was going against Sumio Endo. We're not going to break Richie's ankle, but I'll show you what happened.
Thanks, Stefan.
I'm Sumio Endo. He's Yamashita. Yamashita had a killer Uchimata. So basically he stands a little bit sideways, comes in, and he's going to use this leg to kick me up and take me over. Against somebody who's leading with one side forward, we're going to turn Richie so he's exactly sideways, which is a little bit safer way to show this. Basically, I'm going to do two things or three things. I'm going to put one leg across the front of his hips. I'm going to put my other leg behind his knees, and then put my hand on the ground. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to take him down. From a shoot wrestling or Japanese jiu-jitsu perspective, there's all kinds of leg locks that I can do here. There's a YouTube video I put out on the most crazy leg locks that actually work. I'll link to it. You can see that. Another thing, Anderson Silva, when he fought Ryo Chonin in Japan years ago, Ryo Chonin was maybe losing the fight, but he did this flying scissor on Anderson and then immediately transitioned to a heel hook. Anderson tapped out, won the match. Undeniable that this move is effective. Undeniable that this move leads into all kinds of lower body submissions, but it's dangerous. When Endo did this to Yamashita, Yamashita again being known for being an Uchimata god, basically this foot got twisted. You can watch that video on YouTube as well. It's pretty gruesome. You can almost hear the pop. Broke his leg, and somehow the match was declared a draw. I still don't know how that happened. I'm not real up in judo politics. Not long after, this throw was banned. When I started judo as a teenager, as a 11-year-old or 12-year-old, this throw was legal. By the time I left judo, this throw was illegal. And probably the Yamashita Endo leg break had a lot to do with that. But it doesn't just stop there. I was once wrestling no-gi with a wrestler, and I used to use this all the time, especially if the wrestlers would like tie up here, come in for an underhook or something. I'd get the overhook and I'd jump. I'd do it from the underhook as well, jump. Well, one time I jumped and the guy tried to twist out, we were moving around. I didn't break his leg, it wasn't quite as bad as the Yamashita Endo, but his ankle did get torn and he was out of commission for months. Furthermore, at my jiu-jitsu club under Marcus Suarez, I personally witnessed a friend and a training partner of mine have his ACL torn. Basically, the guy jumped sideways into the leg as opposed to going knee and hip. And another time that I wasn't there, another guy got his knee destroyed. So 2 of my training partners have had knee injuries, and I personally really badly hurt someone's ankle. I just don't think that this technique is worth it. It's worth knowing about. It does have some MMA applications, maybe Sanshao as well. Because as we were talking about earlier, if Richie does a kick and I manage to catch his kick, he can then follow up with this sweep. Now, CM, Here's an example where it's good to have a bigger, heavier training partner because I can hold him up and he can do it in slow motion. Here. So the way I think of it is if we're going to fight MMA and I'm willing to get my nose broken, my jaw broken, concussions, my arm broken with heel hooks, well, at that point, you've accepted the risks of a severe orthopedic damage. If you got to be willing to accept a kane basami or a crab claw throw as well. For regular jiu-jitsu, for regular judo, unfortunately, even though I really like it because it leads into leg locks, I don't think it's justifiable. Most tournaments ban them, and I would suggest that you stay away from it. And if you see somebody doing it, explain to them the super high injury rate to do this. Now we're leading into the problem. Okay, so say we're going to do this in MMA. Say you're getting ready for MMA. How do you train this? Because if I want to train it safely, I would get Richie to stand exactly sideways. I would make sure that one leg goes across his hip, the other leg goes behind the knee, that I'm not like jumping and into the knee or falling down and crunching his ankle. But if we're here and we're moving around, I guess in an MMA contest, we're hitting, we're clinching, and now I jump as he's moving. Well, there's like, in sparring, there's 10 times more variables. Maybe he's stepping, maybe he's twisting, his ego will be more involved. So training this during sparring is really difficult. Now we're left with a really effective technique that I don't think you should really train in sparring against people that you like or you're ever likely to see again, or people who have access to a lawyer so they can sue you. What's the answer? Maybe really, really controlled training if you're coordinated, if you've got mats, if you've got good supervision. I'd have good supervision on this. Or maybe take a training dummy and go balls out on that and take it down as hard as you can. But that is, I believe, the most dangerous throw in judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Ah!